All right, so tonight's a really special night, I believe, because we're going to do a video tonight that I think is going to help a lot of people. Last week, we talked a lot about home meetings. In fact, the whole 45 minutes or so was about home meetings, but it was really about the etiquette of home meetings and basically how we work as a team to create a presentation that will help guests see the possibilities available at GIA. And I really appreciate you all tuning into that. Now it's a video so that you can share it with your teams. And it's really an important video for everybody to see that's going to be attending meetings. And tonight we're going to talk about, for the most part, we're going to talk about how to be a host and mostly about how to do a presentation. And there's a key word that I want to talk about right up front tonight. And if you got a pencil or you can put it in your phone, put in the word duplication. That is probably the most important thing that we could begin to think about tonight when we start talking about doing a home presentation or a home party. Duplication is everything. And when I think of duplication, what I'm trying to say is that it has to be so simple that anyone can do it. That's really key to the growth of your organization. If something isn't simple and only you can do it, you end up doing everything for everybody. And I know that probably a lot of us who've been around a long time have had that situation where we become the one that everybody looks to have things happen. And it's only because it isn't simple enough, we haven't taught a simple process for someone else to be able to go do it. And so as we look at home meetings, our home meetings, everything about it has to be simple and duplicatable, from the food to the products to the presentation and how we interact with people. And so we're not going to talk tonight about food. We will be covering that. We're not going to talk about how to set up the products because I want to make sure we get through what I want to cover tonight. Those are two important areas, but believe me, it's really simple. We have simple snacks for people. We have a simple product setup that we'll be probably talk about for the first few minutes of next week. But tonight, I want to talk about a simple, duplicatable presentation that anybody can do. And we're going to go through it from the beginning until the end. And so we've created a video, and many of you might have seen this video, I'm sure, or some segments of it, and some of you may have even used it in the past. But we've made a few changes to it, and so what I'd like to do tonight is to start at the beginning and go all the way through the video, stop it in the certain places that we stop it, and I'm going to have our co-host tonight, Senior Director Tracy Hillis, who is an expert at doing meetings. They're doing some great work in Utopia, Texas, and Uvalde with the teams that they're growing now using this video. And so I'm going to ask Tracy to join me as we go through the video. And when I stop it, she's going to describe what they do when we stop the video. And then I think I'm trying to think about the questions. Maybe if you could write your questions down, and we should probably get through the video, I'm thinking, Tracy, and not take the questions until the end so that we make sure we get through the video. Tracy, did I miss anything that we wanted to talk about first? I guess there's two really words, duplicatable and simple. Those two things. If we can just duplicatable, simple, and fun. There you go. That's what I wanted to get out. Okay, so let me get the video started. And so we're just going to go for it. We didn't practice this or anything. We're just going to stop it when it should be stopped, talk to Tracy about what she does, and then I think you'll get what we're trying to do. So Tracy, you might as well unmute.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody.
Okay, so now before we start the video, now people, just imagine we're all in Tracy's living room or in maybe Shelly's living room or someone else on her team, and they're there now. We've walked in, the products are displayed, and now we're going to start the presentation. So Tracy, how would you do that?
Well, I just tell everyone thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to show you this presentation. It's going to be short and sweet, and I know it's going to give you a lot of information, and we're going to just hit play. Boom, and I hit play.
I just thought it would be a great way to make an income with a product I thought was fabulous. What I wasn't prepared for is the community, the fun.
The people running this company are people with tremendous integrity, and that's what really impressed me the most when I first met the corporate team.
The G of GIA stands for growth and health and well-being for our products that help provide people with a sense of optimal wellness. And then the I stands for inspiration, to inspire people to lead their best life, to be joyful and optimally healthy as well as inside healthy. And then the A stands for abundance, to help people create financial health and well-being and to create an income from home that gives them that peace of mind. And together they have inspired wellness, which is ultimately our goal, to create that legacy of perpetual growth, inspiration, and abundance.
Well, the GIA products have been great for me. They keep me focused. They've contributed to a greater sense of energy.
The GIA wellness products has been amazing since the moment we started using them.
The products are phenomenal. There's some very recent findings in the areas of hydration, energy, and nourishment, which are some of the key areas for sustained longevity and wellness. And so what our products are doing is really addressing those three areas. We have a patented technology in the area of hydration that is second to none on the planet. We know when the body is properly hydrated, there is tremendous things that are happening in the body. The self-repair aspect to the human body is humongous, and that's what makes our water technology so spectacular and so different than anything else in the marketplace.
When I first found out about the iWater, I was drinking it. I sent the system to my mom, and we took pictures, and we could not believe the incredible results. The hydration of her skin, it took literally 10 years off her life.
The first time in my life drinking iWater, I truly feel hydrated.
We are born with single file aligned water in our body. Think of it as a string of pearls. And the water we consume every day, however, is not in that structure. It's chaotically structured. It's big clumps, almost like a Rubik's Cube type of size for your cells. So as we age, many processes slow down, including the process of the body's ability to convert that Rubik's Cube into that single file, that pearl string type of alignment. There's Nobel Prize winning research from 2003 that shows that we have aquaporins in our body, which are these water channels. And in order for water to properly move through these water channels, the water needs to come in the right type of alignment. So our patented process takes conventional water, breaks that structure up, and makes the water truly into a super liquid. It does that in a 30-minute time frame. You just push one button and off you go, and you are consuming the exact water that your body wants to absorb.
I love all the GIA products, and they are synergistic. The more that you're using and combining, the more protection and the better you're feeling. But my favorite product is the iWater. I noticed that my patients using the iWater look better and they're feeling terrific.
Everybody that come in my path, they actually tell me that I've never looked better now going on 50 than I did going on 30. And that to me is just a testimony in itself when it comes to the GIA products.
Okay, so at this point in the video, I put what I call a placeholder. So it's a picture of an iWater system, and this is the place where you will stop the video. And I'm going to now come out of the video, and we'll come back to you, Tracy. Okay, so now if we were in the living room, the video would stop, and now Tracy, as the leader of the meeting, would now begin the discussion and some information about the iWater system. So Tracy, what do you guys do when we stop the video here?
Typically what I do is I either tell my story or I have somebody in the group tell their story about the iWater system. And then I say, most people always wonder how it even works. Like how do you even make iWater? And then we have the video, you know, that can tell them. And so then I just lead that into the video that you show, the little 2-minute
okay. So I want to get into more detail, Tracy, because that was just 10 seconds. And I know you have fun at this point. So you must do demonstrations. Do they get a chance to drink the water? What do you actually do with the people in the room?
Well,
how do you get stories to come out from people?
Well, I usually start off by telling my story and just telling about my experience with the iWater and ask anybody there if they'd like to experience the iWater themselves. And usually you'll have a volunteer because they're like, yeah, I want to try it. Because I always say, when I heard about iWater, to me, water was water. You just drink your best quality of water, right? And everybody's like, yeah, we always drink the best quality of water we can. I said, but that's what's so crazy about eye water is it just takes it up just a completely different realm. And so then what I do is I usually do product demo with the water. I have somebody drink regular water, and then I have them drink the eye water, and we do product. And what's really fun is if you can, like Shelly's daughter, she's 8 years old, and she loves doing it. And what's so pure about it is that you can't fool a kid. And so when she does it, and she is the one doing the product demonstration, either if it's her doing it or her doing it with somebody else, that people are just so enamored with it. They just are blown away, and then they want to try the water after that.
So this is really one of the most important parts of this presentation, is the part where we're talking to the group and we're interacting with the people in the audience. And really, it's the stories that they hear from the people in the audience, the actual stories. I mean, you guys have hopefully heard Shelly's story about how it's impacted her whole family. And so you can imagine Shelly telling that story to her friends at a meeting. And then your mom's story, you have pictures of your mom's story, and there's so many stories, and that's really what's going to grab people and bring them in. I know there's a lot of science out there that we could talk about and all that, but that's totally not duplicatable. And people in the audience, we want them to really feel like they can actually do this and have fun doing it. So in this section, it's fun, there's stories, and there's stories, and there's stories, and there's demonstrations, so that people really get the feeling that there's something going on here. Okay, I'm going to open it up for a question before we go on. I think it's important that this is such an important piece. Any comments really quickly or questions? Anything at all about this one spot?
Donald's asking, what is the actual demonstration? Well, what I do is I have someone stand in front of me either with their arms out or with one arm to the side, and I have them drink regular water. And then I do a balance test like Doc White showed me how to do, and then I have them just tell me, first of all, I do it without anything. I said, let's just test your norm. Let's just see what your normal balance is. I'm just going to, don't let me, this is why I say, don't let me push your arm down. And so they're like, okay. So they make sure that they don't let me, so however they resist me, and then I have them drink regular water, like regular bottled water that we use to structure, just regular. And then I have them drink that, and we do it again. And then I said, okay, now this is eye water. Just notice if you notice anything different about the taste, about the texture, about any of it going down. And most people nod their head that they do notice something different about it. And so I have them hold their arm out again, and I put just 2 fingers on the wrist. I mean, I'm not trying to break their arm or anything. And every time we did it, especially at the Women's Health Expo, it's so fun watching their expressions, because they really are blown away by the difference that just a few sips of water can make. And they're like, does it happen that fast? And it's just a lot of fun to do that. So that's what I do. That's the demonstration that we usually do.
So can you tell me about how long this takes? Do you have any idea?
2 minutes.
2 to 5 minutes probably to do.
2 to 5 minutes, yeah. Depending on how many people want to try it. Usually I'll let about 2 people, if we have a group of 5 to 10, we take about 2 people. Unless somebody else is insisting they want to do it. Usually about 2 people, and it takes about 2 to 5 minutes.
Here's the fun part. When you have more than just a few people, I mean, we've had meetings where we had 30 people, and it's like story after story, and somebody else wants to tell a story, and then a guest wants to tell a story. I mean, it's a blast, and it's just so fun that you go, okay, we've got to move on now. We've got to move on. And then Tracy might say something like, I know a lot of you are wondering how it works. So let's go back to our video, and let me go back to the video now. Here we go.
Scientists and health experts have called Gia's patented eye water activation system revolutionary and one of the most powerful wellness breakthroughs of the last century. Here's why. Most people are not aware that the water they drink every day is chaotically structured and too bulky for their cells to easily absorb. How do we know? Because a few years ago, Nobel Prize-winning science proved that water and nutrients need to be in a single file so that they can be easily absorbed by the tiny water channels in our cells. See, we are born with single-file aligned water in our body. Think of it as a string of pearls. Plus, when you're young, the body is able to convert the bulky, chaotic water we drink into that single file. But as we age, like so many other processes, this process breaks down. Which means that despite us drinking a lot of water, very small amounts of it are actually absorbed, and we become more and more dehydrated. The easiest way to picture the importance of being in a single file as opposed to being in a clump is this. Imagine a large group of people trying to get through a single doorway all at once. They'll run into each other, and it would take forever, right? But once people get into a single file, they motor on through. Since most people are not able to absorb water properly, they're chronically dehydrated, which makes them look and feel much older than they are. Sort of how a raisin that is shriveled up looks very different than a plump grape. Think about it. The only difference between the two is how hydrated they are. So how do you create single-file aligned water? Just pour clean water into the iWater pitcher, and with a simple push of a button, the patented iWater activation process bombards your clean water with a stream of specific targeted frequencies that breaks up the water clumps and realigns them into a single file. So after 30 minutes, you have truly super liquid iWater. That's intelligent, lively water that easily streams into your cells, allowing your toxins to be flushed out and nutrients to be brought in. So remember, be a grape, not a raisin.
Okay, now at the end of this video, I put another placeholder, and I did this because I know some of you might want to come in and say something here, but you don't have to. It can go right by that into the next section. But if I were Tracy, I would stop the video here and ask the audience, what would you rather be? Because I think that's such a great visual, the grape and the raisin. And Tracy, is that something you would do? These are brand new videos, so we haven't really done this yet, but would you do that?
Yes, I would definitely do that. And I have a big poster of my mom, of her before and after pictures on a poster. And I have a poster that says, what would you rather be, a grape or a raisin? And I have a picture of a raisin and a cluster of grapes on the poster. So, you know, sometimes I ask, how many of you have ever felt like the raisin? You know, because that's how I felt when I was introduced to Gia. So
I just had this vision of having a bowl of grapes and a bowl of raisins.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
Good idea.
Okay, so now she stopped the video and asked him that question, and now she can introduce, we're going into our Neutrogena technology. So we'll just get this video going again.
We have in the areas of nourishment, research has shown that a lot of nutrients are losing their potency and life force as they're being harvested. Well, in Gia Wellness, we have a proprietary re-energization process that we infuse into those nutritional nourishment type of products.
One of the products that I love the most is iThrive. It has given me more energy. It really tastes good too.
It's the very first time I don't have to ask my husband to please take his vitamins. He gets up in the morning, he takes his iThrive, and he's healthier for it.
Introducing iNourish in my family was probably the biggest step that I could have done.
I worked out the first day and I was a little sore, and I started taking the Edge. I didn't get sore. I had the energy. I had fantastic workouts. Made a believer out of me.
Okay, so here's another placeholder, and the placeholders are long enough where you can have the clicker for your television or your recorder and be able to stop it and be okay. So it's not like you, oh my gosh, I have to rush. They're long enough for that. So we would stop it here. Now, Tracy, when you stop it here, what do you do now?
Well, I just tell people that it's not just the water that's in single file alignment, that we have some of our signature products are in that single file alignment, and two of them that we like to introduce are the iThrive and the Cleanse, and how well they work together. And so I have a sample. I do a bottle like this, and I put iThrive and Cleanse and iWater in it, and we hand out little cups with samples of it for people to taste, kind of get an idea about what it tastes like. It's really funny. We get different reactions from different people. Like some people just love it, and I tell people that my husband, I was like, gosh, I could not get my husband to take his vitamins, but when I put it with iThrive together with the Cleanse and the water, it's like his power drink for the day. And he notices a huge difference in his energy level because he's working out in the heat, and he notices when he doesn't take it, and when he does, his energy increases. And so we just send out little samples, and then we have just let people tell us what they think about it.
So here's another opportunity for stories, and remember, this is all about sharing the story. So if you have a group of people that are consultants and guests, then the consultants should be prepared to share their story when the video stops. And you don't have to call on everybody, but like we talked last week, it's a performance by all of us. And so have your consultants ready to tell their story. And there's some great stories about iThrive and Cleanse, and people love iThrive and Cleanse. So the stories are really the key, more than the science of it, because that's what's going to draw people to it, is what it's really done for people. It's the good news that it's creating in people's lives. Anything else, Tracy?
Well, I just know that Shelly's story about it is great, because when she joined GIA in December, she had started a weight management system, and just in 5 months after starting using the iWater, the iThrive, and the Cleanse, she's lost 45 pounds. And so it really gives people hope who are especially trying to, who are wanting to lose weight, or, it just gives people hope when they see somebody else have success after a short period of time.
Now, I don't know if you all felt that, but I almost could see you all moving closer to the screen as she told that story. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. People will be drawn in. And so if you're doing a presentation and you don't have a lot of stories, or distributors who have stories, then just make sure you have 1 or 2 or 3 stories that you could share like that from somebody else. And that's perfectly fine to do that. But it makes such a difference in the whole presentation to have a bunch of positive stories about the products. Okay, so now we're going to go into TerraGia. Would you say anything before we press play here?
So you're not going to do the little 2-minute video that tells about how the iThrive and Cleanse work? No?
No, we didn't add that here.
Okay. Yeah, so no, I just say now we're excited for you to see because of our products that we have, energy products that help to increase our energy, help us deal with stress, and just give us more energy.
Okay, here we go.
In the third category, the energy category, energetic toxicity is now a huge problem around the world, including electromagnetic radiation from wired and wireless equipment. And we have really created the world's first suite of products to address this issue of, stress and stressors that are surrounding us every single day.
When I put the CellGuard on my cell phone, my discomfort using the phone, I was having this burning sensation. It totally went away as soon as I put the CellGuard on the phone, and it never came back.
My favorite product is probably the pendant. We were just so stressed out all the time. We just were going so fast. We didn't have time for each other. And I think the pendant helped us to calm down and really see the world in a different way, and now we have a spectacular relationship. Okay. So now here's another placeholder. So Tracy, I'm going to leave this up on the screen. And I know this is new to the presentation. You haven't seen this before, but these are the symptoms that people go through. And so my idea here was, now that we're talking about the EMF situation and what our products do, that now you can have a discussion and ask the people in the audience, which of these do they suffer from? And I've done this in meetings before, and I'm sure you have too, Tracy, haven't you?
I have, and I usually just ask them, do you know anyone who has these symptoms? And make it a little more impersonal, not do you have these symptoms, but do you know anybody who has these symptoms? And most of the time people will say, oh my gosh, like I can pick 5 out of those, however many is there, I can pick, some of those out. I have this poster actually that I have at our meetings, and one of my favorite things is for Shelly to tell her story about her son, because it's so powerful. And it's so real to her with using the pendant with Logan, because he has seen him with this pendant. His teachers have seen him with and without his pendant, and they're just like, what are you doing? What have you done with this child? Mm-hmm. And it's made a huge difference in his life. So
I think it's so interesting with this slide or the poster, that this is really where people begin to understand that the problems that they're facing are being caused by something they probably didn't know a lot about. Yeah. And so now, Tracy, we've taken a look at that, had the discussion, and people have shared, and believe me, people love to share the situations they're going through. And now, how do you demonstrate the ERT or the TerraGia products?
Well, we love doing the cell phone, doing a product demo with the cell phone. And so I have several different ones that I do with that, but usually just get somebody to stand up with their cell phone. I said, does anybody have their cell phone? And of course, everybody has their cell phone on them, and it's usually sitting right beside them or in their pocket. And one guy came to a meeting one time, and he had a cell phone in both pockets, in both of his front pockets. And he was having a lot of health issues. And so we got him to stand up, and we did a product demonstration with him with just one cell guard over one phone, and we put a pendant on him, and it was just so amazing how it changed his balance whenever we just did that. We didn't even cover both phones. We just covered put one cell phone box over his pocket and put a pendant over his head, and he was blown away. He was like, where do we sign up for this stuff right now? Because he can't be without his phones. It's one of them's a business phone, and one of them was his wife has health issues, and he can't be without his phone. And he had reasons why he had to have his phone on him. It's like, I understand. I get it. So yeah, he was pretty much blown away by it.
I think it's always fun when it works like that, and this demonstration works all the time.
It works all the time.
In fact, it works so well that sometimes I think we can get carried away with some of the demonstrations and do some kind of voodoo things out there. And I just say, when you're doing demonstrations, just do kind of things that people can relate to. And I see Doc smiling there. I don't know why you're smiling when I said voodoo. But you really, it can get carried away. So you don't want to get carried away. You want to make the point. But really, again, the most important thing are the stories. Now, we're probably having this presentation in an Inspired Wellness home, especially if it was your home, Tracy.
Right.
So all the experiences that people are sharing, if you can relate it back to the Inspired Wellness home, this would be a good thing.
Right.
All of the things that's happening to Shelley and her family and that are happening to Chantel and her family are all because of all the products. And so anytime we can relate it back to the Inspired Wellness home is a good thing. And then anything else about demonstrations? How about the fun factor? You keep it fun?
Oh, we totally keep it fun and not just letting it be the one person doing it. Like, I really want my team to be comfortable doing it, so it doesn't feel like only Tracy can do product demonstrations. It's like, no. When we were at the Health Expo, the girls that were with me, they kept sending them over to me, and I'm like, you can do this. This is not hard. It's not like I have a special gift to do this. It's so simple. So by the time it was over with, they were all experts at doing product demonstrations, and it was so much fun. It was blocked up because so many people were standing around our booth, trying to figure out what in the world was going on there. So it was a lot of fun.
Good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Tracy, because the goal of Tracy or any of us who are doing meetings and having our team come is to at some point be sitting in the back of the room watching the presentation.
Yes.
And developing other people. Remember, duplication. It's all about duplication and freedom. And to create freedom, you have to help other people to become the presenters, who can help other people become the presenters. And so that can start by someone just doing a testimonial. And then someone can be the presenter when they do a demonstration. And we're starting to really develop people into the point where they can get in front of the room and do the whole presentation and have other people be a part of it. And the more you do, that's why I think presentations are so important for so many reasons. It's really good to bring guests to, but it's so great for your consultants to come to, because every single week they're learning something new. They're being connected, they're being involved, and they're learning how to be self-sufficient. And I know Ming, I was having a conversation with Ming today about how much fun that is when, Tracy's been doing meetings for years, and I can't even remember the last time I've been to one of your meetings. And now her team, wasn't able to show, or almost wasn't able to show up last week, and her team says, no problem, we can do it. Now that probably felt pretty good, huh, Tracy?
Oh my gosh, it brought me so much joy and relief to know that Shelley thought that she could do it. She's like, yeah, because we're going to be flooded in. We've had so much rain here. We were going to be flooded in. And I told her, I said, I'm going to try to get there, but I have 2 rivers to cross to get to where you are. And she's like, yeah, no problem. We got this. was like, what? Wait, what? That's so, yes!
It's pretty magical when that happens. And I hope everybody will have that opportunity, believe me, if we just keep it simple and duplicatable.
I think so.
Okay, so now we've gone through the product section, and now the next section is the I of Gia. Do you say anything here?
I do. I always say that I'm very excited about the growth and the inspiration, the abundance of Gia, and one of the I part of Gia is one of my favorite parts because it's all about inspiring people to live their best lives, and I can't think of anybody better to do that than, you know, Linda, and so you're going to really enjoy this part, a small part of this video right here.
Okay, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Tracy, I forgot, we added the animation here.
For what?
Yeah, for the CellGuard. So we've added that video today. So we have that video now. So a lot of people ask, how does it work? So we have the video about how it works. So let's watch that, okay?
Almost every day, someone asks, how exactly does the Gia CellGuard work? And while the patent and all the published research clearly shows that the Gia CellGuard works great, it's understandable why some people may also be curious about how it works. Fortunately, the answer is really very simple. As you know, while you're on your phone, electromagnetic radiation, or EMR, is being emitted. Although EMR is invisible to the naked eye, picture it as a yellow cloud around your phone. And as research has shown time and time again, your body responds negatively to that cloud. As soon as your Gia CellGuard detects that cloud of EMR surrounding your phone, it releases its own energy, a bio-friendly energy. Picture that energy as being blue. When you combine yellow and blue, it makes green, which is just like the process of unfriendly EMR being neutralized by the Gia CellGuard, all without interfering with your phone signal. Pretty ingenious, right? One reason some people may get confused about this process is because it is invisible. You don't see anything happening. But consider the example of a magnet. When you hold a magnet, you don't see or feel anything, right? Yet placing a piece of metal or another magnet right next to it will trigger an instant response. So just as one magnet triggers a response in another magnet, the EMR from your cell phone triggers a response in the patented Gia CellGuard. A response that, although it is invisible to the naked eye, provides your body with much-needed bio-friendly stress relief from electromagnetic radiation exposure. So now you know how the Gia CellGuard works and why so many people are using them, for themselves and their families, so that they can enjoy peace of mind.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoy those little videos. I think they're so good. And once the video is over, then I put a placeholder here, Tracy, so that you could, again, introduce Linda as you did. And so we'll just go forward now into that part of the presentation.
It's my belief that we have a personal responsibility while we're on the planet to really bring out our own best potential and to help other people do the same. So the inspiration end of Gia is really to help people, to inspire people to live their best life. And the way that we do that is we actually have personal development, leadership seminars, team building seminars for all of our independent consultants. We have coaching calls, we have live conference calls dedicated just to having people feel inspired and joyful and share principles that not only help them in business but in life.
The RAW movement is something that is a brainchild of both Linda and I that we're extremely proud of. It's the heartbeat of Gia. It's the very purpose. It's our why. It's why we get up in the morning and we do every single day what we do.
I remember a long time ago hearing that phrase that it's our responsibility to give our children roots, that they might make great decisions and really be grounded, as well as to give them wings. And that is the belief and the desire to have goals and then reach them. And we really believe that that roots and wings concept begins with our independent consultants, but the RAW movement is all about the next generation. It's about teaching and empowering young adults, ages 12 to 18 years old, to really have some guiding principles that allow them to have both those roots and wings, and to literally break through any kind of limitations they may feel and step into their potential.
Okay, there's a placeholder to stop the video. And Tracy, I'm going to come to you. And do you do anything after that video? Do you say anything here?
Yes, we tell stories. We tell stories. Shelly especially had such a great experience when she first met Linda at the Discovering Destiny in San Antonio, and her breakthrough moment and just what she experienced, and it just opened up a whole new world for her of believing and receiving and just knowing that there's so much more out there for her. And so yeah, we just tell a couple of stories about our experience, our breakthrough experiences, because most of my girls have been through something with Linda.
Okay, and this would be a good time to talk about Linda's monthly breakthrough program with the CDs and how that relates and how it's helping people. Also, if you've had an experience with the Raw movement or know someone like Sue Gromberg, and there's a couple of videos out there, this would be good. It's really just a great place to share our excitement and our energy about the I in GIA, whatever that means to you. And then now, how do you introduce the next section?
Well, the last section is about the A of GIA, and that's all about the abundance. And abundance is whatever that means to you. If it's putting money in your pocket, or having money enough to pay for your car, or whatever it is. But we love talking about abundance in GIA, and so this section is all about abundance.
Okay, great. Let's take a look.
I used to work on Wall Street and made an incredible income there, and retired from that about 9 years ago. And I see over the next few years being able to replace that income. And the best part is that I get to help other people to do the same thing.
We're just thrilled that we're able to provide people a vehicle to create a home-based business and to create a kind of income that they need, want, and deserve.
You don't need to be an expert in this field.
The GIA business is so simple. Look, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a wellness expert, and I'm not a salesman. The GIA tools do all of that for me.
You've got world-class coaches, world-class training, and most importantly, world-class materials and sales aids and tools that give you a track to run on. So you get all the tools that are the most challenging for the conventional entrepreneur. In GIA Wellness, you get those on a silver platter, so to speak, and you get all the support not only from corporate, but from your fellow GIA entrepreneurs that are helping you build your business.
We find ourselves in this really privileged position and very timely position to introduce a business concept to people that lands right in the heart of 4 different industries. You could take one of those categories and build a huge business out of it. I mean, if you look at the wellness industry, for example, I was back a decade ago and that word wasn't even part of our vocabulary, and now the word wellness is just part of everyday language. Well, we're clearly in that category. That's a booming, huge market trend. We also fall into the anti-aging category. There's another booming market right now that is the wireless industry. And then you look at the final category that we're so privileged to be in these 4 unique markets is really the green technology movement.
The second you get engaged in GIA, you're running an international business. Your startup cost is minimal. The ability to create residual long-term income is absolutely phenomenal, and it is really what you make the business.
From a business perspective, my vision for the future is to alleviate the financial strain of as many households as possible and to infuse a financial energy that gives families and homes and people security and peace of mind and ultimately joy.
Our vision is to have millions of people around the world being able to quit what they're doing in their daytime jobs and really focus on a home-based business, have residual income, put their kids through school or through college, make sure that they can pay their monthly bills and have some residual spending money that they can take their family on their dream vacation, or they can buy the dream car or give to a charity or build a church, whatever abundance means to them. And that's the beauty of GIA Wellness, that we're building a global platform for people to realize their financial dreams as well as their physical and spiritual dreams.
Okay, so now imagine that if you were at Shelly's or Tracy's, you would be seeing this picture, but you would also be seeing Tracy. So as Tracy stops the video, it's just like a slide presentation that she has. And so now the video is ended. Tracy, what do you normally, do you stop it here and say anything before we move forward?
I do. I usually say, when I stop here, I say, I love everything about Gia, and I love the fact that they are constantly looking for ways to put money in our pocket, that it's not hard to create income with Gia. It's all about helping people look younger, feel younger, and have more energy. And if you know someone, or if you thought about even one person while you're watching this video, then it's going to help. It's going to help them, and it's going to help you. It's going to help you from a physical perspective, an inspiration perspective, and from an abundance perspective. And so we just know that everybody needs what we have. They just don't know it yet, and we just need help letting people know that they need what we have. And so we have different ways to help you see how you can be a part of what we're doing.
Okay, good. And so I know some of you are probably thinking of making notes and trying to get the words she's saying, and just realize that the words will come, and they expand as you become more experienced with using the video. So we've also added just a couple of things that might help us to So we put a little picture here of the Inspired Wellness Home so we can go back and talk a little bit about what the Inspired Wellness Home and how the stories have related to the Inspired Wellness Home. Do you see anything here, Tracy? This is pretty new.
Usually I let Shelly talk about this because usually we're in her home, or if it's in my home, then I say, I have my poster and I say, I have created an Inspired Wellness Home, and we've noticed a huge difference in our household, and the stress level is diminished, and we have harmony and peace in our home. And there's just different ways that we can help you create an Inspired Wellness Home.
Okay, and then we can press play again, and then it comes to this slide.
Yes.
Join or join us. And do you say anything here?
Yes, I say there's so many different ways that you can be plugged in and join us with Gia. We have Facebook pages that you can be a part of. And usually what has happened recently is that people will pull out their phone right then and find it on Facebook. Like they'll go right to the Facebook page and request to join. And that's a lot of fun when they immediately are wanting to be a part of that. And then we also want you to join us and help us share the good news. And so those are the two ways that we ask you to consider joining us.
Yeah, and I love this because it's join us and, safeguard your family and get an Inspired Wellness Home, or join us and safeguard your family and help us share the good news, and let Gia help to pay you and create a second income or new career. Kind of sets the idea up. The next slide is taking it back to the beginning and this whole idea of what's happening with the EMR. You could talk a little bit about that here. I'm just going to go through these quickly. And these can be used or not. I put them here just for a reference. I know we have a brochure you could hand out and go through some of this, but I also thought having it on the screen might be helpful. The 3 packages for the Inspired Wellness Home, and you can see how this would show on a television and really get into the details. Mm-hmm. And then it even goes and talks about the rewards that are available if you want to do that. Mm-hmm. The income that's possible. So
what we usually do is we usually invite them to come and sit at the table, and we talk about these different things, and I do pull out the brochure and have them turn to that page so that they can see the different ways that they can join, and ask them what caught your attention the most. And we just kind of have like the round table. We all sit around the round table, and sometimes they'll ask, well, what do you have? And what did you start with? And what do you think's the most important? And I'm like, well, what do you think's the most important? What do you think you need what is you most needing in your life? And anyway, it just brings up conversation. We've had lots of good round table conversations and 3-way calls with you, John, at the table. And it's just a lot of fun.
So before I open it up, I wanted to say something about when people come to meetings, they all get invited for different reasons. And I was talking to Kedzie about this today. Some are invited just to learn about the products, and some actually get just to learn about the EMF products, or maybe it's the iWater. And then some people are invited because they want to learn about the water, but they're also interested in the opportunity. And you just really never know when you're the presenter or someone's coming to your home. And I think because of that, sometimes we get a little squeamish when we know someone's in the audience wanting to know about the products, but this video has information about the opportunity, the A. And so a way to deal with this is at the beginning when you're introducing the presentation, you let them know that you're going to tell the whole story. That you know some of you may have come tonight because you're really interested in the product. And I know some of you have come tonight because you're interested in creating a second income or maybe even a new career. And I just wanted you to know tonight we're going to tell the whole story about GIA, the growth, the inspiration, and the abundance. And that kind of gets that feeling of tension gone. And I'll tell you, in many cases, I can remember a situation at Karen Knott's home where we had that exact situation. We were in a living room. You were there, weren't you, Sue, for that one? And we did this exact same thing and went through the whole thing, and the people who came for the products were the most interested in the business when it was over. They had all the questions about how do I get started, how do I spread the word. It was amazing. And that would have never happened had we felt squeamish about talking about the A in GIA. And it's about growth, inspiration, so in abundance. And if we're leaving part of who we are out, it's like telling 1/3 of the story, or one. Okay, so that's it. It took us about 35, 40 minutes to go through it and explain it. I know that this can be done in an hour or less. There's no question about it. Even with all the stories and everything that goes on, which means that you have time to get together with the individuals who are interested and do what Tracy was talking about, getting together with them, sitting down and going over and answering their questions. So there's plenty of time where someone when they say, how long is it going to take? Man, the whole thing, when you get there and leave, could be 90 minutes or less. And believe me, when you're telling someone they can come to a meeting and it's just a little over an hour or so, that's a whole lot better than saying it's going to be about 2.5 hours or 2 hours. And I can see some of you are shaking your heads about that. And the other thing about it is they're not afraid to bring someone else when they know it's not going to just kind of drag along. All right, so open it up. Anybody just unmute, questions, thoughts, comments? What do you think?
Well, the other
thought, John, sorry, Tracy.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say that we always send everybody there that's interested, we send them home with 2 gallons of eye water and a spray bottle, so they get to walk away with a gift. And there's no one yet who has declined and said, no, thank you, I don't want any of that eye water.
And so let me ask you this question then. Of all these people going home, have you had great results with them using the products while they go through the rest of the process?
Yes, yeah, they use them.
And they usually end up either getting a water system or joining the team. And I think before you go, I just want to say that remember this, that the meeting is one part of the puzzle. It's one piece of the process. In the video that we saw today with Eric Worre, he said 4 to 6 exposures. This is an exposure. And so the expectation I know that we all have is that someone comes to a meeting, they sit through the whole meeting, and at the end they join, which is absolutely the perfect situation. But the truth is, that's going to happen to someone who maybe has had some information before they come. Maybe they had a few exposures before they come to the meeting. A person who comes to the meeting, that's their first exposure. It's likely that they may need a few more exposures before they make the decision. So I don't think it's really a bad idea to have someone have some exposures before they come if the intention is for them to join at that meeting. Sue Johnson?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with those comments anymore, John. That's fabulous. But my first comment I wanted to make was, I want to come to a party at Tracy's. How much fun is it? Oh my gosh, and that maybe might be February, so fingers crossed. I really love the way Tracy put everything so positively. And one comment around that is when she says she likes helping people look younger, feel younger, and have more energy. I find myself saying have less stress. Now, doesn't have more energy sound so much more nicer, if that's even English, but you've done that beautifully, and I've really picked up a lot of keywords like that today, Tracy, so I really appreciate that. Signature products, you know, I Thrive and Cleanse. I mean, just those little few key things that I've written down. You've done a fabulous job sharing tonight. Thank you so much, and you too, John, and I'll throw it back over.
I think nicer is a Canadian word for sure, but that's okay, Sue. You know, the thing I want everybody to realize is imagine a newer person who's not Tracy, how they could use this video and just share a couple of stories in there. It would be as easy for someone new to be able to do this. It wouldn't be as eloquent. It wouldn't be as structured probably, but it's good enough to get started for someone to sit down with a group. And it's something you could actually do Zoom. So I think Ming, isn't this the video we used when we zoomed into New York?
I do believe.
I think it was.
I do believe. And can I just say, I just want to say I love it, Tracy and John. Oh my gosh, for one who can overcomplicate things. And I just want to say that it's so beautiful in its simplicity, in its buoyancy and its positivity. And I really think really helping people understand that this is it. This is a piece. This is an exposure, with the other pieces. I mean, I think, though, that people will be surprised at how many people do join them, even with this.
Absolutely. There's no question.
And here's why. Because it's really not what we know, but it's how we make people feel.
Exactly.
The crux of why they join us. So that's really, I mean, that's one thing I've learned. It's how they feel when they're in our presence. Tracy, I want to join your team.
I think it's really true what she's saying about people. I know we're going to go a couple more minutes, but how people feel. And sometimes when we're so focused on the dangers of the EMF and the 5G and all of that, it doesn't give you that warm, fun feeling. But when we're talking about the results the product gives and the stories that people, it does give that different feeling, and that's why Tracy's meetings are fun. I mean, when you look at the pictures, you can just know they're just having a blast and sharing with friends. So it's just something to think about. But more importantly, as what happened with Shelley, she said, don't worry, don't come, I can do it myself. That's what you want to hear from like 1,000 people. Believe me, if you want to have a huge, successful organization and total freedom in your life. Anybody else have a question or thought? Doc? Get you unmuted there.
There
okay.
You go. Yes, this was really actually exciting to the way this is coming together finally, where where you put this little science 2-minute thing in there, and we say, how did this, you want to see how it works, and then we just point to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way you're putting, I think you're going to put another one in that she was talking about, and just get them right placed in there. So you want to know how it works, and then we punch that button. Because like Ming, I can complicate the heck out of everything with detail.
And just imagine, who could be a doc? Nobody. Nobody can do that. So yeah, we're not going to add that other one. We're just going to go with 2 animations. We thought 3 would be too much, too long. So
we're not going
to put the I Thrive and Cleanse animation in this one.
Okay.
And I'll tell you right now that here's the thing. Just imagine if we all decided to practice this and use it, and then when we go out and do a meeting or a party somewhere else, I go to Whitefish to do one, I'm going to do the same one that Ming's doing. Or if I go to Brenda's house or home and I do a meeting, I'm going to do the same one that she's been doing with her team. And everywhere we go, it's the same. And there's hundreds and hundreds of home meetings going on across North America, Australia, New Zealand, and all the rest of the countries that we are in. And believe me, that's going to be coming. So having a duplicatable system, a duplicatable way that we can do the presentations that works is really going to be important. And I'll just tell you the last thing is that in the next few months, the company is going to work on a new presentation with updated information and doing it in a similar way that we're doing it. And that's going to be coming. But between now and then, I'd like to see all of us to at least try this out and see how it works for you. And just imagine, just close your eyes and imagine 100 people in your organization out sharing the information, sharing the good news in this way. So now we have a video. And this,
John, one thing. We were talking today about my presentation coming up at Marge's, and she has very low, weak Wi-Fi, and you said it's downloadable. The whole video, you can just download it. You don't need Wi-Fi. You just play it. And I'm like, how fantastic is that? So you can go anywhere, anytime. You don't need to be hooked up and have a presentation.
Yeah, it's likely what you have to do is, I don't know if you can do it from Vimeo. You might be able to go to the Vimeo site and download it. I'm not sure about that, but you can request it from me. I'll send it to you in a Dropbox file, and you can just download it on your computer or on your device and be able to show it that way so that you're not stuck if you don't have Wi-Fi. So that's a good point, and we'll work on getting that done. Tracy, do you have something before we go? No? Thank you, Tracy. We appreciate you sharing. and give us an example of what the possibilities are. Sorry it took longer. I knew it would be long, but just hope it was worth it for everybody, and that you won't just let it go now, that you'll actually get a hold of it. And it's on my Vimeo, so it's vimeo.com/iFitZone, IFITZONE, and I'm also posted on Linda's Live, Love, and Prosper page, so it'll be there also. All right, hey, thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's an honor to be a part of Gia Wellness, no doubt about it.